Hello and welcome to another episode of the Farr Show, where I am Damian Farr, and tonight we are talking about my favorite TV shows that are on TV or were on TV or were on like streaming platforms. Pretty much a TV show, something that is a series. Let's web series are included as well because there's some on streaming platforms that I don't think would count. And I don't know if it's narcissistic, but I want to put this on here, the Farr Show. That's a joke. I'm not going to put this on here. That'd be ridiculous. Let's get serious and start talking about it. So, we're going to talk about, like I said, my favorite TV shows. I'm curious of what yours are, though. Tell me in the comments below what your favorite TV shows are that you would say are your, like, top ones here. So, I want to give an honorable mention. I didn't include it in this sheet. This sheet does not have it on there, which lets me down because, though I don't watch that show all the time, and I think it's mainly the art style and the story is great. Samurai Jack. I just love that show. I don't know what it is, but it's so good. So good. So, let's start talking here about my favorite shows, where Samurai Jack would be on here, but once again, forgot it completely. There's going to be some that I've probably missed, and maybe I'll just keep commenting on the video every once in a while and putting in my favorites that I forgot. So, let's start off here with Atlanta, which started in 2016, and they've only had 2 seasons. This is one of the shows that they take their time and make quality seasons and episodes, which is fine by me. This is on FX. At least it is still, I think. There's supposed to be a new season coming out next year in 2021. I don't know how that's going to happen with what's going on right now. But Atlanta, the writing of the show is pretty much, it's just about a rapper and his manager. But it's some odd situations that they end up in and stuff that happens to them that's different from what I would normally consider normal. But I enjoy it so far. The second season ended with a cliffhanger that they were going to go on tour in the UK. So I'm curious to see what happens in that season. I assume they're going to pick off right where they left off. If not, that kind of sucks. But that's a great show. This one was on ABC. This was Boy Meets World. I talked about it a while back and said how it was one of my favorite shows. And just talking about it with community in general, this inspired me to do this episode where I'm talking my favorite shows. So, Boy Meets World. It's pretty much about a boy growing up and how he's meeting the world, for lack of a better term. It was also the name of a Drake tour, which I thought was kind of funny, but it's a great show. I definitely think it's gotten better, though some of the child actors in the first couple of seasons were not the greatest. They got much better as the seasons went on. The show, I think, hit its peak around season 4, season 5, and then kind of dropped off. Once they started going to college, it was kind of like, alright, well, you're just going to keep putting Feeney with them? Don't get me wrong, I like Feeney, but it's like, alright, you can stop now. Then, we're going over Community, which was from 2009 to 2015. And that was on NBC and Yahoo Screen. So season 1 through 5 was NBC, and then season 6 was Yahoo Screen. So 6 seasons in a movie. I didn't say it in the video about Community, but 6 seasons in a movie. So hopefully they make a movie, to be honest, because or else make a liar out of Abed. So I think this show is also amazing. I just started watching it, like I said. Watched all of it. Loved it. Think it's one of the best written shows that are out there right now. I really hope they make a movie. Maybe even tie it to Rick and Morty somehow, because Dan Harmon created Rick and Morty. Those are really the only 2 shows that I really would want to talk about by him. I love Rick and Morty as well. So, let's move on. Where 2005 to now, this show has been going on way too long, I'll be honest. I stopped watching it after season 10, but season 1 to 10, amazing. And I know what you're thinking, Damien, this one's gonna come out of left field. This one is completely different from what I've watched completely. Grey's Anatomy. I don't know what it is. I think it's the fact that I grew up watching this show with my mother, and my mother and I have a close relationship, so the fact that this show was a show that we bonded over was amazing in my mind. The show itself, since season 10, has dropped considerably in quality, and a lot of the original cast is not there. I think the only ones that are there are Ellen Pompeo, the lady who plays Miranda Bailey, and Chief Weber, or he's not Chief anymore, but Dr. Weber. Those are the only ones that are still there. Because the guy who plays Karev just left last season, to my understanding. So it's kind of like getting to the point where you don't have any of the original cast. Why should I keep watching your show? And being honest, Ellen Pompeo can't really act the greatest, but that's not important. So, we're going to go over to another show, 2005 to 2014 on CBS, How I Met Your Mother. It's one of those shows that I think really well written. It took the idea of what a sitcom is and kind of flipped it on its heels. I think How I Met Your Mother, in a way, was like a stepping stone for Community, which I even like more. Community is much better than How I Met Your Mother. Mainly the reason why I don't like How I Met Your Mother is that finale was terrible. They almost ruined the show in my mind with it. So, I don't like it. I don't like the finale, but the rest of the show, season 1 to season 9, what episode was it? 9/22? All amazing. The fact that really bugs me, though, is season 9 was all about Barney and Robin's wedding. That was the whole thing, the weekend at Barney's wedding. And then you go ahead and get them a divorce in the final 2 episodes. Like, come on. That's not okay. It's not okay. That's not how you write a show. Other than that, the rest of the show, great. Loved it. Favorite shows. But they ruined it with that ending, so it would probably be my favorite show, to be honest, of all time, but they ruined it with that ending so badly that it just left a bad taste in my mouth. Then, going over to something completely different, because we haven't really talked too much about action. Jack Ryan, from 2008 to present, right now on Prime Video. This show, I did not expect to like it, and I really enjoy it more and more. As I showed in the Jack Ryan video, my cards go in a Jack Ryan box from Amazon, which I love. I wish I had another one, to be honest, because forever I'm going to just keep putting them in that. So, that show is an action adventure show, I would say, pretty much, where a guy is pretty much a guy behind a desk, makes sure money is not being, I don't know how to explain it, not being, messed with in bad ways. And once he sees something he gets put into the field and becomes a field agent, which he hasn't done really. So it's kind of like a fish out of water story, but it's really cool because he's been in the military actually, but he's been stuck behind a desk for so long that he doesn't remember how to be in the military in a way. I really like this show. John Krasinski is great. I like him in this, and I like him in A Quiet Place. I know what you're thinking. Damien, what about The Office? Haven't really watched The Office. So that's one of those shows that are on my list. That's probably one that a lot of people are going to comment down below saying that's their favorite. Let's go over to MASH. MASH. From 1972 to 1983 on CBS. Another medical show, but this one is more comedy. Though it does have its serious points. Well, Grey's Anatomy is pretty much all serious and a little bit of comedy. MASH is a comedy that can get really serious. Like, it's really good. I think the writing of this show was miles ahead of whatever was on TV at the time. And you're going to notice that that's the earliest show on here for me. Miles ahead of time. So, I love MASH. I don't own the DVDs, but I plan on buying the DVDs eventually. If they make Blu-rays, I'll buy the Blu-rays. Because almost all these shows I own. Atlanta, I own the DVDs and digital. Boy Meets World, I don't own, but it's on Disney+. Plan to buy it eventually. Community, I own the Blu-ray box set. Grey's Anatomy, I own the first 2 seasons. They're expensive, to be honest. How I Met Your Mother, I own the first 8 seasons. I need season 9, and eventually I plan to buy that. Jack Ryan, I'll buy the Blu-rays eventually. MASH, like I said, I want to buy. And going over to something different. 2013, Rick and Morty. It's going on now on Adult Swim. I have season 1, 2, and 3 on Blu-ray, so I'm good there. And this show is great. Dan Harmon, two hits right there. Man, I really hope though, once again, and I'm gonna keep mentioning it until it happens. If they make a Community movie, can the ending somehow lead into Rick and Morty? Like they're in Rick and Morty universe somewhere, because that would explain a lot of what's going on. That's just me, though. I would love to see that. I know I'm weird like that, and I want more Community, and I want more Rick and Morty, so if they can combine them in some way, that would be awesome. Then we got Seinfeld. Another show I talked about at one point. It's a show about nothing. Really, from 1989 to 1998, it was on NBC, and it was a great show. I mean, I've been really enjoying it, the little bit that I've watched of it, and I think that they need to keep doing it. And then I forgot another one on this sheet, which I'm not going to put as an honorable mention because I love it as well, with Samurai Jack. I also forgot Stranger Things. So I'm going to write these down on the card for future because, well, eventually it may change, but Stranger Things. How did I forget Stranger Things? I think, to be honest, it was in the original, thing in my Google Doc, because I use Google Docs to write these up and what I'm talking about, and then put it on a card eventually. So, I think what happened is I just forgot about it. Season 1, great. Season 2, pretty good. Season 3, pretty good. Season 1 is definitely the best, that's for sure. But the rest of the seasons are still good, and I enjoy the show. It's been going a while on Netflix. I don't know the exact dates because I don't have it on the card. Like I said, I forgot about it. So I own the Blu-ray sets of season 1 and 2. Eventually I hope to get 3 when it comes to Blu-ray, like the VHS thing. So that's cool. Then moving over to another one. There's another streaming service one. The Mandalorian. This is the shortest one. All these shows have 2 or 3 seasons at least. Atlanta's gonna have a 3rd season, and Jack Ryan's gonna have a 3rd season. The Mandalorian's gonna have a 2nd season on Disney Plus, but it's still so far in its infancy, but it's such a good show. The only complaint I really have about the show is I wish the episodes were longer. Instead of 8 episodes that are 30 minutes, why couldn't they have given us hour-long episodes? That would have been better. And that one doesn't have an option to buy it on Blu-ray, so only Disney Plus for now. Then we're moving over to my favorite cartoon that's not named Samurai Jack. The Transformers. And when I say the Transformers, I know what you're thinking. Damien, there's loads of Transformers. Loads of Transformers. Well, I'm talking about 1984 to 1987, which I tried to look up here. This show didn't actually have a network that it aired exclusively on. It kind of was syndicated where it was on multiple networks. So, not really on there. I own the DVDs, so I have season 1, 2, 3, 4. And I have one of the seasons of the Headmasters, the ones that were only in Japan that happened after season 4 ended. And I enjoyed the show. I love Transformers. Let's just point over there. There's one over there that I got from Universal Studios. You probably can't see it, so let's roll on over. Oh, well, it's just out of the shot. There we go. So this one I got from Universal Studios a long time ago. It seems like a couple of years now. But this was one of the ride things. So I think it's great. I love Transformers. They're part of my childhood. I grew up with the toys. And I will continue to buy some of them, to be honest. As sad as that sounds as an adult man. It's just something... They're like Rubik's Cubes in a way. And I like displaying them. So having a car or a robot, I'm not going to transform it, but he does have his feet there, so he can stand up like that. But I just love this show. This show was what started it all with the cartoon. I read part of the comic books, but could never really get into those. I don't know, they just... When you read a really good comic book, like a DC or a Marvel comic... That's personal bias. Those are the 2 I read. Mainly DC, and then I slowly got into Marvel. But really, there's nothing that compares when you read those. So the comics were not great. But still, something to talk about here. Maybe one day I'll read them, and we'll go over them. And honorable mention here as well. I consider them the same show in a way. G.I. Joe, the original, a real American hero show from back in the 80s. I kind of consider it in here. And the only reason I consider it in with Transformers at all is I really like Sergeant Slaughter. He's one of my favorite wrestlers, and he's in G.I. Joe, so I just thought I'd throw that in as an honorable mention. And then finally, 2014 to now on HBO, True Detective. I haven't seen season 2, but season 1, amazing. Season 3, amazing. Season 2 I've heard is not as good, so I just kind of have held off on watching it. Eventually I do plan on watching it, because, well, I'm gonna watch it, let's be honest. I do own season 1 and 2, or excuse me, season 1 and 3 on Blu-ray, so eventually I hope to buy season 2 and then finish off my set. Hopefully they make another season. I assume they are, because they're making loads of money. I think part of the reason it's so good is it feels like a mini or a longer movie. The first season was great. It had the pacing and everything perfect, like, oh, this is what we're going through trying to get this case figured out. And then season 3, similar thing. So I think both of these are amazing. I think all of these are my favorite shows. Like I said, honorable mentions to technically G.I. Joe, Samurai Jack, and Stranger Things, even though Stranger Things was supposed to be on the card once again. And Samurai Jack I just completely forgot about. So, what are your favorite shows? Please tell me again in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and have a far off night.